Alrighty, folks. Now, we are going, I'm recording. Trace and sweep Y-U-Z. Put your pencil on Y. You're tracing first. Go to U. Go on the lesson, front page, Z. And sweep. I'm using green, blue, red. You don't have to. Okay, when I say sweep, that's what I mean by sweep. It does not matter where you sweep. That does not matter. Okay, but I want you to get in the habit. All angles you trace and sweep. And that little M there, circle it. That little M there means measure of. And notice there's an equal sign. That means there's a number that's going to go there. Matthew, you had a question, sir. No, it doesn't matter where. When I say sweep, I have you physically sweep because when we do comparative angles, the sweeping helps your brain recognize that it's this angle versus the other one. Now, protractor, elbow. What I call the elbow of the protractor on your protractor is the 0 point. Okay, there's the elbow of the angle. The elbow of this angle is at U. Now, for just a moment, guys, just watch. Just watch. Look up here. Look, just watch. Elbow of the angle lines up with this elbow right there. Elbow. Then, watch. Don't do it. Just hang on. Just watch. See the arm? The arm, that's the 0 arm. You line up with the arm of the angle. Okay? Then you eyeball it. Look really carefully. This, is it bigger than a corner or less than a corner? Less. And so you always have a choice of two numbers. You choose a smaller number. Go ahead and measure it. Measure it. Elbow, arm, eyeball, right. Elbow, arm, eyeball, right. I would say it's about 43-ish, 42-ish. Okay. Okay, so if 45s, you're a little too far rotated, guys. I know the lines are fat, so a couple degrees off or different than me is fine. So I'm gonna call it around 42, 43. Okay, are you guys getting the same thing? If you're holding it correctly, you should be around 42, 43. Yes, folks? Okay, you make sure you're getting in the middle of the line. Okay, now we're gonna trace and sweep, measure angle Y-U-X. So Y. Go to U, go to X, and sweep. Trace and sweep. All right. And this one you're going to have to rotate. So there's your elbow. Watch, guys. Here's the most common mistake. Students just leave it flat. Well, the problem is my angle is not here. It's here. So I have to rotate and line up the arm. That's why it's elbow, arm. Eyeball, right. Elbow, arm. You have to rotate it. Now look very carefully. Is this less than a corner or bigger than a corner? Less. So we choose, you have a choice between about 102 or about, excuse me, not 102, about 98 or 82. We're going to call it at 82. Are you getting 82-ish? Yeah, around that. Okay, let me keep my color straight here. Okay, now let's trace and sweep U-X-Z. Excuse me, X-U-Z. X-U-Z. And when you sweep, try not to let your sweeps overlap. I mean, in other words, offset it just a bit so that you can see the relative measurement. Okay, now look very carefully. Elbow, line up the elbow with the elbow of your protractor. Arm, rotate so the arms line up. Elbow, arm. We eyeball this. Is this bigger than a corner or less than a corner? Bigger it is. And so now you want to check the angle. And I'm reading about 125-ish, 4-ish. It kind of depends. These lines are a bit on the fat side, so a couple degrees off is fine. Actually, you don't. The degree sign, you don't need that, Matthew, because of that M here. That M implies measure of in degrees. I'm not going to mark you down, buddy. We're fine with it, especially after all the lectures that I give you guys about units, okay? I'm just letting you know, if you see that in a textbook, don't be confused. That little M there does mean angles. Okay, ready? Here is how I know. This is what you are going to do. Next page. You're going to measure 4 angles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Elbow, arm, eyeball, right. I want you to write the actual measurement here. Notice that M, that means there's a number on the other side. That's a degree measure. Then, after you measure it, I like you to circle whether that angle is acute, right, or obtuse. In other words, describe it. When you're done with all 4, I want you to add it up and then call me over when you have that number. I want this as accurate as you can to the degree. So you're doing all 4 angles. Should take you about 3 minutes. Folks, go to your reference booklet. Fabulous. Okay, you're in your reference booklet. Find the angles pair page. Angles pair. McKenna, can you help Caitlin find the page, please, sir? Reference booklet, folks. We're going to zoom through this, and then we're going to do an example together. Reference booklet, guys. I see about 4 of you. You do not have your reference booklets in front of you. Get them out. Find the page that says angle pairs. Josephine, lights, please, dear. Fabulous. All right. So there was how you measure an angle. Elbow, arm, eyeball, right. There's the instructions. Now we're going to, all of these angles are going to be how relationships. We have words in English that describe relationship. If I introduce you to someone and I say they are my sibling, that means you know that person's either, if they're female, my sister, or a brother, they're my brother. Okay, if I introduce a couple and say this is Mr. and Mrs., that implies they are married. They have a relationship. So we have words in our language that designate how people are related to each other. The same way with these angles. All of these words imply a certain kind of relationship. Hold up 2 fingers. Between 2 angles. These are angle-paired relationships. You cannot have a relationship just with the singular. That's why God's a Trinity. That's a pretty profound thought right there if you want to talk about that. You know, there cannot be love unless there's a relationship. That's why God is triune in nature. But that's a Bible class. You can ask your Bible teachers about that. But by intrinsic, relationship means 2. Okay? Or obviously group of friends more than 2. But for our use and purposes, we're talking about pairs and angles. Ready? Say vertical. Okay, now I'd like you to trace, please. Trace these 2 lines. Just physically trace them. You don't have to use colors right now. I'm going to, obviously, and always. Vertical.
Wait, are you recording?
I am recording. Thank you, Ms. Zaneri. Appreciate the reminder. Now you're stuck on my website for months to come.
Yes. Hey. What's up, YouTube?
Wait, can they hear us?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, on 3. Let's say hi. 1, 2, 3. Hi. Alrighty, guys. Vertical angles. I like you to sweep angles C and G. C and G. C and G are vertical. They look like 2 little V's stuck back to back. If you want to say butt to butt, something like that, back to back. And but these are by far, draw 2 straight lines. They are by far the most common. Put a star by them. They are the most common and the most important. Physically sweep, I also call them bow tie angles or cat whisker angles. I think it's pretty obvious why. Notice the hatch marks. What do those hatch marks mean? They are?
Jason. Oh, there we go.
Yes, they are exactly equal, folks. That's really important. Vertical angles are always going to be congruent. Always. That's why they're super important. They give you congruent angles. Okay, put your, so go like this. Say vertical.
Vertical.
Now stick your nose here. Say congruent. Okay, it's another hip hop move for you dance students. You're going to do a geometry hip hop. All righty. Say adjacent. Go like this. Say adjacent. Adjacent means back to back. So any two angles that share a spine, just draw this, write the word spine. They share a spine. They are back to back. So I'll color code it. The yellow angle and the green angle share a spine. They are back to back. That's what adjacent means, to be back to back. They share a spine. That's adjacent. Okay, linear. Put your fingers up by your nose. Say linear.
Linear.
Say line.
Line.
Pair.
Pair.
Two.
Two.
Okay, so go through. Linear. Pair.
Pair.
Okay, how many angles are we talking about?
Two.
And they make a what?
A line.
Glorious. That's a linear pair. So any two angles that add up to a line, but guess what? They automatically share a spine. So watch carefully. These two angles are a linear pair. They share a spine. So obviously they're automatically adjacent, automatically. And we're getting there, we're getting there, we're getting there. And they make a line. Looky there, folks, it rhymes. Share a spine, make a line. There. Share a spine, make a line. That is a linear pair. Linear line pair 2. Alrighty, guys. Supplementary. Any two angles that add up to, so two angles, that's the angle symbol, plural with an S. Two angles sum 180. They don't have to be back to back. Notice those are not. Any two angles that sum 180. Not to be confused with complementary, which is any two angles that sum 90 degrees. So this sums 180, that sums 190. So two angles sum 90 degrees. When you're done writing, put your pencils down. Make a C with your hand. Repeat after me. Say complementary.
Complementary.
Adds up to
Adds up to
90 degrees.
90 degrees.
Do it again. Complementary.
Complementary.
Adds up to
Adds up to
90 degrees.
90 degrees.
One more time. Say complementary.
Complementary.
Adds up to
Adds up to
90 degrees.
90 degrees.
Now, do not confuse complementary with a right angle. A single angle that is 90 degrees is just a right angle. That's not complementary. That's just a single right angle. Complementary by definition means two angles. Again, it's relational. Relational. Now, I want you to take a peek here. I'm going to draw a couple arrows, and then you're going to explain to a neighbor what on earth do these arrows mean.
I thought they mean.
Do you really? I haven't even drawn them yet, but I'm impressed. Okay, ready? I'm going to draw one arrow. Go like this. Draw an arrow from linear pair to supplementary and write always. Okay? Draw a nut from supplementary to linear pair. Write not always. Let's take a close look at that. I want you 10 seconds. I want you to try to figure it out. What am I trying to communicate? I will spell it out for you, but I want to see if you can figure out before I actually talk it through. 10 seconds of silence. Your job is trying to figure out what is up with those arrows. Okay, 10 seconds. Let two people think. Okay, buddy up with a neighbor. See if you can't guess what's going on there. Alrighty, folks. So let me see if you guys kind of said something like this. All linear pairs are always what? They're always going to be. But not all supplementary angles are a linear pair. You catch that? Okay, ready? Go to your lesson, please. We're going to do one together. If you've already done it, great. You can just keep cranking away. A lot of you haven't even started. That's fine. Bounce over to page 4, please. Page 4. I'm doing one problem with you. And then I'm going to shorten this by 1. And then those of you who are already done with the lesson, which there's 3 of you, I'll be talking to you in a moment. Okay, we're doing problem 4. I highly recommend you get out 3 colors right now. 3 colors. Just get ready to sweep, squiggle, dot, if you will. Yes, ma'am. All righty. It says, I'm going to do number 4. It says, measure angle NRP is 62. Put your pencil on N. Go to R. Go to P. And then you sweep. Doesn't matter exactly where you sweep, but sweep it somehow and put 62. I'm going to color code this. I'm on page 4, problem 4. Alrighty. Next one. We're going to trace and sweep. Measure angle ORN. So we start at O. Go to R. Go to N. Now when I sweep again, if you're just using pencil, maybe you can squiggle instead of sweep. And notice I do not directly overlap them. I offset it a bit so I can see the relative size. This is where colors really make things pop. Draw your colors in your non-dominant hand, and you don't have to pick them up all the time. Now we're going to trace and sweep QRP. Q, R, P, trace and sweep. If you're using pencil, maybe you can just dot it or something to distinguish it. That's 41. Your job is to find QRO. So you trace Q, you go to R, go to O. Ta-da! All right, do that completely on your own. Go. You have 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes. Find everything. No calculators. You should be able to do 2-digit addition and subtraction without a calculator. Do your own work, folks. What's up? Lights on? Yeah, lights on, guys. Lights on. Do your own work, folks. Do not ask a neighbor what to do.
Like your protractor map.
Actually, could you collect those for me?
Yeah.
Grant, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, raise your hand when you're done. I'll tell you if you are correct, folks. Let me get this look. All righty, guys. Take a look up here. There seems to be some confusion. So let's kind of do this part together. Let's do the math together. Okay, thank you, sir. All righty. Okay, take a peek here. All right, step 1. I want the red. The first step you should do is pretty much ignore what I ask you to find and ask yourself this question: what can I find? Something that's super easy to find. You can. If this is 62 and this is 25, isn't that super easy to find? Like super easy? And find it. Always find what's easy to find right off the bat. Yes, you are doing borrowing. I think you can manage. How many of you at least got that far? Excellent. Okay, then you go back and you see what we're trying to find, which is this red. So you physically trace it. And then we're like, oh, all I have to do is take 37 and add it to what?
21.
Excellent. So I'm just going to do that right there.
78.
Life is good. Life is good. You guys are good. All right, guys. Here is your shortcut, okay? And 3 of you already did this, so I'll give you 1 point extra credit. Everybody else, if you so choose, go to the Alex page, please, and cross it out. This is exclusively for my 2A period only compliments of Fire Drill Day.
Oh, fire drill.
Okay, all righty. All right, guys, sorry about that. Sign-offs. Lunch.